On a cold winter day in 2016, Russian police stormed a cottage and found two 15-year-olds dead with gunshot wounds. How did this happen, and why? Denis Muravyov and Katya Vlasova were a teenage couple that met at their high school in Pskov, a city in West Russia near Estonia. They added each other on social media and quickly began talking. They started taking walks together after school, and in April 2016, they began dating. The 15-year-old teens, both born in 2001, fell in love, but they kept their relationship a secret from their families. One night, Denis left his home to take a walk with Katya, but he never returned. Worried where her son was, Denis's mother called the police at 3 a.m., frantic. The police found the two lovebirds and brought them both back to Denis's apartment. Denis's mother was shocked that her son had a girlfriend. Another time, the pair went missing again and weren't found until the next morning, which angered Denis's mother so much that she ordered him to stop seeing Katya. But Denis refused to end the relationship, and the couple still dated in secret. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. The more subscribers we get, the more content we can put out. Denis's mother realized she could not stop her son from seeing Katya, so instead she decided a better approach would be to get to know the girl. She invited Katya over and they ended up hitting it off. Katya went to visit Denis at his home multiple times and even began teaching Denis's little sister how to draw. Unfortunately for Katya, her own home life wasn't as wholesome. Her parents were divorced and her mother remarried a military man, an ex-sniper named Alexei. Katya and Denis's relationship started to get rocky in November 2016, and as a result, Denis started acting out, getting into fights at school, being rude to his teachers, breaking rules and skipping school. On November 5th, 2016, Denis and Katya arrived at Denis's home after school, but something was up and they began arguing. It's rumoured that Katya had been cheating on him. The fight led to Katya leaving him. Denis was so annoyed he took it out on his family. Denis posted a message on social media saying, "Forever in my heart, despite everything. Sadly, that all happened this way. These were the most memorable 7 months. Only with you I am good. I did not expect this from you. Always believed you. I loved you. Love now and will love." This message moved Katya, and after reading it, she decided to get back together with him. On November 8th, Katya messaged Denis's mother saying that her stepfather had beat her and she ran away. She spoke of her thoughts of ending her own life, so Denis's mother encouraged Katya to come to their apartment, only to also call Katya's parents to come and get her. She didn't believe that Katya had suffered any abuse, but Katya refused to go back home, so her stepfather, who had arrived, he dragged her by the neck to the car while she resisted and, according to a witness, forcibly hit her head against the wall. The next day, Denis's mother apologized to Katya for calling her parents and asked her to come over again. Realizing she was wrong for not believing her, she was regretful that she sent Katya back to the abusive household. Katya came over and said that she no longer felt like ending her life and she was feeling better. But the next evening, November 10th, Katya had snuck out to a friend's sleepover, but her mother caught her, and they had an argument that allegedly ended with bruises to Katya's neck. She couldn't take it anymore, and Denis couldn't watch his girlfriend suffer any longer. On November 11th, Denis and Katya went missing. For 2 days, Denis's mother searched for the teens, but they couldn't be found. She made a police report and called Katya's mother, who told her that Katya's stepfather owned a summer cottage in a small village. As it turned out, that's exactly where Denis and Katya had gone. They had stolen their parents' credit cards and travelled the 80 kilometers to the cottage. They broke in by using a knife to open a window, and they spent 3 days together alone in the house, which didn't have any heat. It was snowy outside, so they would have been extremely cold. And Katya dyed her hair from blonde to brown and cut it short. Eventually, having figured out where they went, Katya's mother and grandmother turned up at the cottage and knocked on the door. Denis opened it and told them to go away because he and Katya wanted nothing to do with them. The grandmother noticed Katya was holding a knife and lunged at her, trying to get it, but she was unsuccessful, cutting Katya's hands in the process. During the scramble, Denis drew a gun and shot Katya's mother in the hip. She fell backwards and Denis slammed the door shut. They barricaded themselves in the cottage while Katya's mother and grandmother called the police. But where did Denis get the gun? Katya's stepfather, Alexei, was a military man, and in the cottage was a safe full of guns and ammunition. And Denis and Katya managed to break into it. It's unclear if Katya knew the guns were there and that's why they chose to go to the cottage, or if their plan was simply to run away, and upon finding the guns, had a change of plan. Once they had barricaded themselves inside, the teens started live streaming themselves on Periscope. The stream lasted about 2 hours, and those watching included classmates from their school. On the live stream, they said they ran away from their homes because of the bad relationships they had with their parents. Katya detailed some of the alleged abuse and recalled the time that she snuck out of her house to go to their friend's sleepover. When her parents found her, they beat her. The police arrived outside, and while they were still live streaming, Denis shot at the police with a shotgun, injuring a police officer. They called for backup and a standoff ensued. They fired around 30 shots at police officers. The teens sat on the couch and talked to their audience. They said they were psychopaths who were not understood. Regarding the incident when Denis shot Katya's mother, Katya explained to the audience, "We were sleeping peacefully. Someone started knocking at the door. We thought it was my granny. I came and saw that my mother was standing there, so we let them in. I just held the knife in my hand as it was, without implying I was aggressive. My grandmother rushed at me, 'Give me the knife, give me the knife.' Mum tried to stop her, and in the end it turned out they cut my hands with this knife somehow. I don't really understand how it has happened. I didn't even feel pain." And Denis first threatened them, saying, "Get out, go away," calmly, but there was no reaction from them. Then he became nervous and shot into my mum's right hip. At one point they shot the TV and threw it out the window. They also said they were getting bored and the police were probably going to storm the cottage. They played around with their guns and laughed as the cops outside were trying to get them to surrender. They started drinking and smoking, possibly to calm their nerves as the reality of the situation sunk in. As this was going on, Denis ignored all calls and texts from his mother. At this point, after firing at police officers, the pair were in a lot of trouble. If they gave themselves up, they would both be arrested, and it's unlikely they would see each other again for a very long time. As reality continued to dawn on them, Denis finally spoke to his mother, who begged him to surrender. She managed to get them to drop the knives, ammo, and guns outside off the balcony. She told Denis that Katya could live with them away from her abusive parents. Denis responded saying he needed to think everything over, and the police gave them 30 minutes to think. But Denis suspected his mother's tactic was a trick, and he knew that they would be arrested, and he and Katya didn't want to live apart. Alexei, Katya's stepfather, arrived on the scene, and he told police that there was a gun missing. The teens hadn't surrendered every weapon. During the final minutes of the live stream, Denis and Katya sat in silence. Katya's final words were, "Thanks everyone for your support, for the time we spent together. This was really awesome. We will miss you, love you, goodbye." Upon hearing that a weapon was missing, police threw a stun grenade inside the cottage and stormed in to find both Denis and Katya dead from single gunshot wounds to their heads. It's suspected that Denis shot Katya on the couch, then he shot himself. During their final moments, they posted a message on social media. They said, "I loved you, but you did not notice how you had ruined my mind and life. Goodbye all, friends, family, and acquaintances. Don't worry, I'll leave in a beautiful way. Good luck to everyone in life, and please don't fear to live however you want or feel is necessary. A life of pleasure is the best life. I love you." Then they ended the live stream. It's thought that Denis and Katya wanted to spend eternity together, and this was their way to do that. But others believe that the pair didn't kill themselves. After surrendering the weapons, they said on the live stream, "They took away all the weapons, they took away even knives. They told us that they are giving the time to think. So we cannot commit suicide. Yes, we cannot commit suicide. And we have somehow realized this is not the way out." Regarding the missing weapon, Denis said that his mother, who was on the scene before police arrived, took away one of the guns. He said, "She took away the weapon and there are no more cartridges." But police deny opening fire on the couple. They said, When the Special Forces officers used stun grenades and stormed the house, the teenagers were found dead with gunshot wounds. Either way, this is a tragic loss of life. 2 teenagers who felt the world was against them, a young girl who suffered at the hands of abusive parents, and her boyfriend who wanted it to end, but didn't want to lose her. One of Katya's teachers had this to say: "If I could have gone there, entered the house, took them by the hand, they would not have resisted. Honestly, that's my opinion. They did not know what they should do. They did not know. They were expecting someone would come and help them, but no one came. The pair had fallen in love in May, and parents and teachers had failed to help them." Do you think Katya and Denis killed themselves, or do you think the police killed them? Let me know in the comments below.